Hello and Jai Hind bachcho. In the last chapter, we had discussed the forms of business organization. In this particular chapter, we are going to discuss the private, public, and global enterprises. Before I start this particular chapter, one thing I want to tell you that global enterprises is now not come in your particular school exam. And why so? Because board had deleted this particular topic. But we will study this topic because global enterprises topic is very important for your competitive exam which will come in future. Okay, so the thing is what is private sectors, what is public sectors, that today we will discuss. With the help of slides you can prepare your notes also. You can take the screenshot of this all. Okay, so now the first thing is private sector. What do you mean by private sector? Generally, the meaning of private sector is the sector which is owned by individuals, a group of individuals. Remember this thing. When any sectors are managed by individuals, a group of individuals, that is considered, individual means like you and me. So when it is managed and controlled by the individuals, a group of individuals, that sectors are known as private sectors. For example, sole proprietorship, where a single person is managing and controlling the whole business. Second one is partnership. Second one is partnership. A partnership is what, beta? Where more than one means minimum two and maximum 50 persons are doing the business, managing the business, controlling the business. That is considered as partnership. Next one is joint Hindu family business. Dekho, group of individuals. The whole family is managing and controlling one particular business, and that is known as joint Hindu family business. Getting my point? So this is something which is considered as private sectors. Companies are also coming under the private sectors. So the company which is controlled and managed by the group of individuals like Reliance, that is also coming under the private sector. That's why we are saying to Reliance that Reliance is a private company. Now you tell me other two private companies name other than Reliance. Okay, chalo, try it. Name any two companies which you are knowing that it is a private company. देखो जी, very well known name is Tata, Wipro, OA, Ola Cabs. These all are considered as a private companies. Acha, how we identify the company name which is managed and controlled not by government? Understand this simple thing, how we can find out that this company belong to private sector, this company belong to public sector. So the company which is not managed and controlled by a government, then it will be considered as a private sector company. Now come to the public sector company. So very simple. The organization which is owned and managed by the government, that sectors are basically known as public sector company. Okay, acha, these sectors are partially or fully owned by the government. Like example is like your Indian Railway, like BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electronic Limited. चलो जी, write down two, if you're knowing, write down two other name of public sector, the sector which is governed and managed by the government. Very famous. I mean, I must say that you hear the name of that particular sectors, that particular organization. I'm not saying every day, but continuously when hearing the name, you are seeing the ads also. That is what? That is LIC, Life Insurance Corporation. And you had seen this Air India also. Air India. So beta, basically that sectors which is managed and controlled by the government is Indian Railway, BHEL, LIC, Air, Cell, that all. Chalo ji, second, the meaning of private company. Some already we had discussed in the previous chapter that private company restrict the rights of members to transfer its share. Generally the private companies are not, private company member cannot, private company I'm taking you, private company I'm telling you, the private company members cannot transfer their shares to the other person. Suppose I am the member of any private company, so I cannot transfer my shares to any other one. What is the minimum number? 2. And what is the maximum number? 200. Achha, why this one is with the purple color? Because earlier the maximum number was 50, but now it's increased and it is now how much beta? 200. Does not invite public to subscribe the share capital. So already we had discussed this point also, that the private companies are not offering their shares to the public. They cannot invite the public that you come and purchase our share. A very important is this one. The minimum paid up capital is how much beta? 1 lakh rupees. ठीक है? अब paid up capital means how much amount they receive by the mode of share. That is considered as paid up capital, and that should be how much beta? 1 lakh rupees. Now, and it is very necessary to use the company, the word private after its name. Okay, so always remember this also. Acha ji, what are the privilege? It is asked that what are the privilege what the public companies are getting over the private companies are getting over the public limited company. So the first privilege is what beta? That they can start the business. They can start the business after incorporation stage only. Means, like suppose if a public company is there, so public company have to follow 4 stages: promotion, incorporation, capital subscription, and 4th one is what beta? They have to follow the commencement of business. But if it is a private company, so private company will only follow the promotion stage and incorporation stage, and after this stage only they can start the business. So that is what, that is the advantage of private company over the public company. Number 2 advantage, that only 2 members can start the business of private company. But for public company, how many members are minimum required? 7. So a private company can start the business by 2 members only, where the public company need minimum 7 members to start the business. Okay. Second, there is no need to issue prospectus. There is no need to issue prospectus. What is the meaning of prospectus? Already I told you that prospectus is a document which contain all the information about company, the past information, the past information, present information, what is the future goal, all that they have to write down in a prospectus, like a school prospectus. But public company have to issue a prospectus before issuing the shares to public. So here also private companies are enjoying this particular benefit, that they don't need to issue a prospectus as the public companies are issuing. Okay. Acha ji, third and very important, public company have to receive 90% minimum subscription. 90% minimum subscription. What is the meaning of 90%, sir? Suppose I issued 100. So at least 90 shares subscription I get it, then only I can allot the shares to someone. But in private company, there is no case of minimum subscription. Without receiving the minimum subscription, you can allot the shares. And but I am telling you, this is a very important question. This is a very important question. So please go through by each and every one, each and every point. You keep in mind that what are the privilege private company have over the public company. A private company can start the business, that already we discussed. A private company need to have only 2 directors, as against the minimum of 3 directors in the case of public company. So this is also the advantage. By keeping 2 directors only, private company can run. But for public company, at least 3 directors should be in the company to start the business. So these all are the content of private company over the public company. Already we had discussed this thing in detail in the last chapter, so you already had seen that particular videos also. You can prepare the notes from there also. So the thing is what? Very simple. This particular question in this particular chapter is very important. Public, private and global enterprises, that what are the privilege? What a private company is enjoying against the public limited company. Okay. So always remember, I revise the whole point once again for your benefit. Listen and understand very properly. The first point is saying that private company need only 2 members, where public company needs 7 members. So with number of low members, we can start the private company. The second one is that in private company there is no need to issue a prospectus, but in public company it is compulsory. And third one is allotment of shares. In public company, if you are not getting the 90% minimum subscription, then you cannot start your business. You cannot allot the shares. But in private company, without getting the minimum subscription also, you can allot the shares to the particular shareholder. And fourth one is private company can start the business after getting the certificate of incorporation, means after the second stage only. But public company have to follow all the 4 stages, then only that company can start the business. And what 4 stages are there? Promotion, incorporation, capital subscription, and after that the last one is commencement of business. And the 5th benefit what a private companies are enjoying, that private company can start the business with 2 directors only, where the public company need at least how many directors? 3 directors. So beta, next is form of organization of public sector. So before that, sir, any form of organization in private sectors also? Yes beta. Private sectors here it is not there, because already we are knowing sole proprietorship, partnership. We already discussed in the last chapter Hindu undivided family, and that is what? Company. So these all are basically what? The forms of private sector. And when in this particular chapter we are mainly focusing on the forms of public sectors. So the first form what today we are going to discuss is, the first one is departmental undertaking. Because the word is what? Departmental undertaking. So government take one particular department under the control and supervision of government, and that is considered as departmental undertaking. And out of all three forms of public sector, the oldest one is departmental undertaking. So somebody asks you for 1 marks that which one is the oldest form of public sector, so that will be what beta? That will be departmental undertaking. Getting my point? Hanji, so in the department undertaking, what is that department taking? Let's discuss some particular point. The first one is, it is the oldest and most traditional form of organizing public enterprises. So first thing, what about department undertaking? We have to learn that it is the oldest form of public enterprises. Second, that these enterprises established as a department of the ministry and considered part and extension of the ministry itself. Means beta, for departmental undertaking we have a separate ministry, and that minister will take the full control of the particular department. And we have certain example also, like Indian Railway, Railway Ministry, Post and Telegraph, Post Ministry, Air India, sorry, All India Radio, Doordarshan, Telecom Ministry. Okay, so these all are what beta? These all are departmental undertaking. So if somebody asks you that what do you mean by departmental undertaking, a very simple answer. Departmental undertaking is the oldest form of public enterprises which is established by a ministry and controlled and governed by the particular ministry itself. Okay, for example, Indian Railway, Post and Telegraph, All India Radio and Doordarshan, etc. Now, the features of departmental undertaking. The first feature is part of government. It is concerned minister, it is departmental undertaking is basically what beta? Departmental undertaking is concerned with a particular minister who is responsible to the parliament or state legislature. The very simple thing is there that departmental undertaking is a part of government because each and every rules are governed, controlled and managed by a particular ministry concerned with minister who is responsible for parliament, who is managing the finance of the departmental undertaking. It means who is giving the fund, who is managing the revenue, all that. So all that is managed by the government itself. So who is funding the departmental undertaking beta? Government. For that, what government is issuing? A particular budget. ठीक है? It is directly coming from government treasury, and revenue earned by these is also paid into the treasury. Okay? A very simple thing that whatever the government treasuries are there, whatever the government revenues are there, government revenues, and sometimes these also is these particular departments also give the profit. So government is managing all that things for financing that particular department. Sometime this particular department is giving the loss also. Then also governments are managing the particular budget of this particular department undertaking from different revenue sources. One is accounting and audit. देखो this two words there is there, accounting and audit. Let's understand the first word, accounting. Accounting, though that you are knowing because it is the first word of the chapter. Accounting is what beta? Accounting is a process of recording, classifying and summarizing the transaction. What is the meaning of audit? Audit is what? Checking the book of accountancy. Checking the books of account is considered as audit. Okay, and this particular accounting and audit is done under the supervision of government for the departmental undertaking. Okay, next one is civil service code. सिविल सर्विस कोड, ठीक है. अब देखो सिविल सर्विस कोड इज वेरी सिंपल. लाइक सपोज हाउ द रिक्रूटमेंट विल बी डन, what are the condition, time to time some service rules, that all is managed by the government as per the government rules and law. Because departmental undertaking is directly controlled and managed by the concerned minister, and it is the minister who is responsible for the parliament. So whatever the recruitment is done, whatever the service conditions are there, that service conditions and recruitment rules are same as the governments are making, that's civil servants rules in the other departments also. Okay, so in one line you can understand this civil service code, that civil service code is equal to government rules of service and recruitment in a departmental undertaking. Now we go for merit. Before going to merit, any particular problem is there in departmental undertaking, please ask your question in the comment section. I will try to give the answer immediately. Tell me. Merits of departmental undertaking is, first one is easy formation. As we know that company formations are very difficult. We had seen in the last chapter how difficult theory itself is there. 4 stages, all the 4 stages are very complicated. We have to get the registration certificate for that. A lot of paperwork is there. So formation of formation of a company is very difficult, very complex process. But the departmental undertaking formation is quite easy as compared to that. Why so? Because it is not any special law is required. It is not any particular registration is required. All the decisions are taken by the government itself, so no that much legal formalities are involved for any departmental undertaking. But I am telling you beta, it is on the paper only. A lot of discussion in parliament is there, a lot of procedures are there, a lot of ups and downs are there, and after that one particular department undertaking form in parliament. Every decisions you have to show in parliament, why it is giving in loss, why it is giving in profit. And although no registration is required, no special law is required, so it is quite easier as compared to company and others. But the government administration decisions also required for the formation of departmental undertaking. Second merit is what? That second merit is it is under the direct government control. So any losses are there, sometimes any ups and downs are there, so that ups and downs are easily managed by the government itself. Undertaking is under the direct and complete control of the state or central government. Here one word is there, control of the state and central government. Sometimes some departments are directly managed by the central government, sometimes some departments are managed by the state government, and sometimes it is combinedly managed. Third important is public accountability. What is the meaning of accountability? So accountability can be easily defined by answerability. Answerability in Hindi, which is known as jawabdehi. So what is the meaning of accountability, answerability? Suppose any task is assigned to you. For the success of task, for the failure of task, for the success of that task, for the failure of that task, you will be responsible because responsibility transferred to you. So you have to give the answer for any particular ups and down if something has happened with the task, and that responsibility to give the answer about assigned task is known as accountability or answerability. Okay, so departmental undertaking having public accountability. Why it is public accountability? Because maximum degree of control is done by the parliamentary control. ठीक है? So if any ups and downs, like suppose any railway accident, any train accident, a train accident is there, it is the matter of the railway department, but railway department is accountable for the public also. So if anything happened with the public, any injury, any mishappening, who was traveling in that particular train, governments have to give the compensation to them. Government have to give the clarification in the parliament also. So in parliament, the public representative public representative is sitting in the parliament, and the concerned minister have to give the clarification to them, and they are receiving the clarification on the behalf of the whole public. So departmental undertaking is accountable for the public answer if anything is happened with the department undertaking. Proper use of money. that is on the paper only. Proper use of money. The risk of public money is minimized due to strict budget, accounting and audit control. On the paper it is there, what I personally feel, that proper use of money, because every single task is under the control of the government. Government present the budget in parliament. Government is all the accounting is done under the supervision of government, and governments are time to time keep auditing the department's account. So by that, any fraud, any mishappening, any misrecording is not recorded generally in the departmental accounting, and because of that a proper use of money is there. ठीक है? Adds to public revenue. देखो जी, simple. Whatever we are getting revenue means beta income. Whatever the income we are getting by the departmental undertaking, that revenue transfer to whom? That revenue transfer to government, and with the help of that income, government can do other good work. Government can do other good work also. For example, suppose this particular COVID-19 situation is going on. Government have to give 2,000 rupees every person whose income is below particular amount. So from where the government will give? Governments are earning the revenue from these sources, and that revenue governments are giving to the work of welfare of the general public. Okay? Acha ji. Sixth one is that departmental undertaking main work is not the earning profit. Their main work is providing service to the public. Sometimes you had also seen that sometimes roadways buses are there, and roadways buses are just picking 3-4 passengers, okay, and their time is there, so they start the bus and going to their particular destination with the 3-4 passengers. So within 3-4 passengers they cannot even recover their diesel cost also. But their main motive is what? Not earning profit. Their main motive is what? Providing service. Sometimes you had seen in the train also, sometimes it is full as compared to particular place, available place, and sometimes only 3-4 persons are there in a particular bogie, then also the train is going on a particular time. So sometimes governments are earning loss also because of this. But the government main motive is not earning profit. Government main motive is providing service to the public. चलो जी, limitations. There are certain limitation of departmental undertaking also. And what are the limitation? That is lack of flexibility. Acha, flexibility is what? Tell me, what is the meaning of flexibility in the comment box? I'm speaking from a long time. Now you tell me that what is the meaning of flexibility? Tell me. Very fast. Chalo ji, listen this. Under which department, under which control the department undertaking is working? Under the control of ministry, and ministry is under the control of parliament. So sometime it is the interference of ministers and top officials are too much, and because of that the rules become very much rigid. If a manager want to change something as per the situation, then also manager not allowed. Manager have to take the permission for each and everything from the concerned top levels, and that top levels are taking the permission from ministers, and because of that there is a lack of flexibility in the organization, lack of motivation because of the excess control of the ministries and top level. The decisions are generally taken by them only, and generally it is what, like suppose two employees are there, one employees are doing very good, one employees are not doing anything, then also the salary of both employees will be same. Sometimes this type of acts are demotivate the workers of departmental undertaking also. Okay, next one is red tapeism. What is the meaning of red tapeism? You just remember the meaning of red tapeism, beta. Red tapeism is a lot of paper work for taking any action, for taking any decision. There is a particular defined routine, particular lot of paperwork, and because of that sometime the decision delayed, and that is what, that is the limitation of departmental undertaking. Inefficient management, generally it is controlled by the ministers, and ministers are not too much professional to take the decisions. Generally sometime it is managed by the IS also, the head of the departmental undertaking, and that IS is also good in administration of the administrative work, but that much not good what a professional manager who have the professional degrees, who have the professional experience of business management can manage the business efficiently. So that is also the demerit of the departmental undertaking. Inefficient management is always there because the person who is managing the departmental undertaking is not having the proper knowledge of management. Insensitive to needs of customer. Sometime it is also there that customer want the change. Customer needs some particular things in the departmental undertaking, but departmental undertaking is not taking the customer needs and customer demands very seriously. They are insensitive to the needs of customer. For example, generally Indian trains are what? I have to tell, not at the time, 3 hours late, 4 hours late. Why so? Generally the trains are not clean, foods are not proper quality, and customer demanding from the long time that should be proper, but the department taking is not very much sensitive to the needs of the customer. And when we compare the private train with the department taking thing, the train still, that train is also under the departmental undertaking, but slowly now the control and management of that train is in the private sector's hand, and they are running the train at time also, proper cleaning also, proper service also. So that is also a difference between the department taking and the private sectors. So I hope that this much is clear to you, and Any problem is there, please ask. In the next class, we will discuss the public cooperation features, merits and demerits. So till then, take care and bye bye.